today's video. So we are back in the kitchen and these are some of my favorite videos. I'm super excited to share with you two of my favorite quote-unquote desserts or healthy snacks. A lot of these are things that I go to when, the first one I'm going to show you is an energy protein ball. So I'll take them with me if I need to make sure that I have good calories, and I also want something that tastes good, but I know what it's made with and I can do the macros on them. And then also, the second one I'm going to show you is a protein mug cake. I love cake and I love desserts at night, but I don't really like the way they make me feel, and I don't like how they kind of spark or create those sugar cravings. So this recipe I'm going to share with you is really high in protein, has minimal fat, and it's just going to satisfy your sweet tooth without having you have those extra sugar cravings, and also everything in it is clean and healthy for your body. So I'm super excited to share this with you, and today we're going to start with recipe 1 is going to be the protein balls. So for this recipe we need 5 total ingredients. So all you need, which is a staple in our household, are old-fashioned rolled oats. From there, some honey. Chocolate chips are optional, but for Patrick and I, they are essential. From here, a protein. My favorite protein is level 1 vanilla ice cream to use in these protein balls, and that's from Formula 1. And then a natural peanut butter. And I like the natural peanut butter because it's gonna be, 1, it's cleaner. It only has dry roasted peanuts and salt in it. And 2, it's gonna be a little bit runnier. So it's gonna mix the protein balls together easily, and then we'll pop them in the fridge so they can set up. So let's get started. The first thing you're gonna wanna start with, or that I always start with, is your oats. Really, you can't mess this up because we're gonna end up dumping everything in together and then mixing. I like to use my KitchenAid mixer. This was actually my college graduation present from my parents because my mom likes to bake and I always used to help her bake. So I was super excited to get one of these. It comes in handy often. If you don't have one, you could just use a hand mixer, or you could use your muscles and you can mix it by hand in your bowl. But first, we're gonna start with 1.5 cups of oats. So I'm gonna do 2 3/4. So to get my 1.5 cups of my oats. And then from there, I always go straight to the peanut butter because I love peanut butter. So we are gonna do a full cup of peanut butter. For this recipe, sometimes I end up doing a little extra on the end if the consistency isn't what I'm looking for. So we're just kind of play with it a little bit. I try to measure everything the best that I can so I can share with you guys, but I'll show you in the end. So we're gonna do 1 cup of peanut butter. To use my spoon. And we'll dump that in there. Now I've got my 1.5 cups of oats. I've got my cup of peanut butter. Next, we will add the honey. And again, natural peanut butter, you guys will notice this is a little bit runnier and creamier, is gonna be the go-to, and there's also only 2 ingredients in it, and we don't have any of the extra sugar or the hydrogenated oils, which is what we wanna avoid. From here, we're gonna use our honey. So it's gonna be about 1/4 cup of honey. And this is gonna give it a little bit of sweetness, make it really delicious. I don't know about you guys, but I love peanut butter and honey mixed together. So we'll just dump the honey in. It smells so good. From here, set that aside. And then next is gonna be our protein. So for the protein, really you could use any that you want. I think the Formula 1 level 1 protein is the best protein to bake with. I've tried a lot of protein, and for me, these flavors are awesome and they just blend and they mix so well, so you don't get that, almost like that chalky protein flavor. So if you guys are looking for protein, definitely check that out. But we're gonna do 1.5 scoops of the Formula 1. And this flavor is vanilla ice cream. 1.5. Sorry, forgot my half. Go. I almost forgot that. But this flavor is vanilla ice cream. They also have chocolate. They have lots of different flavors, but I really like baking with the vanilla because I find if I add cocoa powder, which you'll see in the next recipe, it turns it into like a chocolate flavor as well. So it works as vanilla or chocolate. And then finally, we're gonna add a little bit of chocolate chips. I don't usually measure these. I just kind of dump half the bag in. But if you're gonna measure, I think like 1/3 to 1/2 of a cup. We'll dump some in. That looks pretty good. And now we're gonna mix it. And we'll check out the consistency. If we need to, we'll probably add either peanut butter or honey, or if it's really runny, then we'll add a little extra oats. So let's see. All right, so I just mixed it. You guys can see it's kind of sticky, but it's still not quite as sticky as I want it to be. So I'm going to actually I'm gonna up my honey just a little bit. So we did 1/4 of a cup. I'm actually gonna do about another 1/4 of a cup, maybe a little bit less. So it's gonna be about 1/2 of a cup of honey. So maybe start with 1/3 because you can always add more, but if you start with too much, then you're gonna be adding a lot more protein and oats, where honey is the one thing I like to mess with. And that could just be because I was really loose kind of with my scoops today, but we're gonna mix this honey in. I'll show you guys how the consistency that I want it to look like, and I can tell you this smells amazing. All right, normally, once I'm done mixing, I take the protein balls and I'm gonna use this really cool scooper that I'm gonna show you that my friend got me, so you don't have to get your fingers dirty, and it makes everything into a perfect ball. It's really exciting. We got them off Amazon. But when it comes to the pan, they shouldn't stick, but just in case, I'm gonna spray a little bit of Pam on it, because usually I get parchment paper and we accidentally got wax paper, which actually is sticky. So today we don't have it. So I'm gonna grab some Pam. We're gonna spray just to prevent any sticking, but if you can, again, use parchment paper because they will not stick to parchment paper. That's our typical, we just forgot. So now I'm gonna use this really handy dandy thing. They come in multiple sizes as well, but basically I'm just going to, whoops, we won't need that one. So I'm going to fill the scoop and then scoop it on. Let's do it again. So I just press against the side, scoop. And these things, this has turned into one of my favorite treats. And you could roll them to make them actually into balls, but we kind of like to leave them flat on the bottom. And then when we eat them, so once they set up in the fridge, we have this little treat, which is absolutely delicious. That only has peanut butter, protein, oats, honey, and chocolate chips, if you want to have those chocolate chips in there for a little extra sweetness. Okay, so now that I've used my scooper, it's kind of up to you whether you like them flat or rolled. Pat requested rolled. So wash your hands, as we should, and then I'm just gonna take each one and kind of turn it more into an actual protein ball. As you can tell, this is really big, but typically we'll take one. So instead of taking 2 or 3 as a snack, Pat will eat 1, we'll take it with us to the gym. They don't have to be in the fridge, but because it is natural peanut butter, they will start to get softer. So I like to put them in the fridge for about 30 minutes just to cool them. They're not hot, but it helps them set up a little bit more. And then when we store them, we will actually store them in the fridge just to make sure that they don't lose their shape. Because again, with the natural peanut butter, if you leave it out, it tends to get a little bit runny. So here, put this chocolate chip in this one, I lost one. Here are our delicious peanut butter, honey, oat, vanilla protein, chocolate chip, energy bites. And we call them energy bites because they're loaded with awesome macronutrients. They taste delicious, and they're gonna be a great snack, and it's gonna help fill you up because of the carb, fat, and protein ratio. For servings, I typically can get 24 to 32 energy bites or balls with one batch, and that just depends on if I use, which I use today, the larger scoop or the smaller scoop. So it's kind of up to you. I like having both sizes, so if we want the bigger ones, we can have those, or if we want to make little bite-sized treats, we can make that as well. Typically, once they're all rolled and in place, I pop them in the fridge, and I'll leave them in the fridge for about 30 minutes before we enjoy them. They just taste, I don't know, I think they taste a little bit better colder. But again, they don't have to be refrigerated, but if they're not, they might tend to fall apart. So the refrigeration helps keep them sticking together. And this is one of the recipes I wanted to share with you guys because Pat and I eat it often, and I shared this recipe with my mom and my dad for his job will sometimes be in the field all day and he needs snacks. So my mom started making these, and my dad swears his energy levels around 2 and 3 p.m. when he felt like he would start crashing, when he'd eat a couple of these, would start to go up and it would get him through the rest of the day. So I think just from our experience, my parents' experience, it felt like something we definitely wanted to share with you guys. So if you give this recipe a try, make sure to tag me, tag Pat, because this is probably one of his favorite treats. We would love to see you guys making it. We'd love to see if you come up with any variations, and also let us know how you feel. If you guys really enjoyed this recipe and you want to see that healthy dessert that I have put on my Instagram a couple times, that Pat will literally lick the bowl clean because it's so good, that has hardly any sugar or anything bad in it, make sure you smash the like button on this video and comment below, and we'll make sure to bring you guys that one coming up soon. I hope you have a great day. Give this a try. Let me know how it goes, and I look forward to seeing you soon.